brother, from another brother on Mount Olympus. You saw some serious thunderbolts tonight.
Wholeness and power, bro.
let me co-sign 100%, but I'm just gonna do. Let me close it. We might need to do a movie review, Rhonda.
Okay,
before I get
on. Brother.
House Resolution 204. Are you hip to that? Can you pull up a browser right quick?
You said 204.
204. This is something repeatedly introduced by a white N-word Alabama Representative Rogers, Republican. It's a quick summary.
I see it.
This bill repeals the United Nations Participation Act of 1945. The basic title of this bill is the American Sovereignty Restoration Act. It has been reintroduced the first day of Congress, January 3rd, 2019. Now, before I say anything, could you please share with the family, what does Nasara mean to you, or Sean, or Sandra? Nasara, you commented briefly on the reset, global currency reset, or whatever else you want to refer to it as.
Yeah, that was that independent nationalist, nationalist people who were, the farmers land was taken by the government, and they filed suit against the government for doing all that kind of stuff, and your housing. I haven't read it in a long time, so bear with me if I forget it, but the housing, everybody was who has a home is supposed to get reimbursed for the fact that they've been cheated in their mortgages and stuff like that. And NASARA is a government agency, and that's what I found out. I'm saying, how in the world is a government agency trying to help people get back what the government is making them pay for and all that kind of stuff? But I remember something about the farmers, a couple of farmers who they took their property from.
Quick note, did you know that a mortgage is only supposed to be for 5 years? Any mortgage over 5 years is a fraud. If you ever get the chance, read the Banking Act, and you'll see that it clearly states a mortgage is only supposed to be a 5-year thing. So any mortgage that you're agreeing to that's over 5 years is actually a fraud, and you're participating in a fraud. And the real estate agent is supposed to know that. I'm not making it up. I read the Banking Act, and I went and searched for other people who did it as well.
The government did. Am I correct?
Yeah, they call it the farmer's claim. They also have a so-called Native Americans claim. But the acronym is National Economic Security and Restoration or Reformation, whichever R word you want to use, Act. And GESARA is replaced national with global. Okay? Now, the unfortunate thing is all this y'all were discussing as the fuckery for tonight and our moral outrage. What is the sovereignty as an issue? This is what's intriguing to me. Now, this is my little two cents. This is called the American Sovereignty Restoration Act of 2019. The Americans, not the United States, I stress, the American
it sure
Sovereignty and Restoration Act.
American, Native of America, originally applied to the Aborigines, or the copper-colored races, meaning more than one race of people. Remember, they classified everything: Caucasian, Asian, Negro, and what was the other one? What is that other classification? Mongoloid. So we know the Caucasian's not considered copper-colored. The Asian's not copper-colored. So who does that leave? Mongoloid and Negro. Races found here by the Europeans, but now applies to the descendants of Europeans. born in America, not the U.S. So when they tell you, you're a U.S. citizen, you've been messing up the whole time. You're in America. You're Americans. But if you classify yourself as a U.S. citizen, you're making yourself federal government property. There's your birth certificate. There's your social security number. And how do they take the title from the two races of people that were here? Simple. You got to go back and read the Virginia laws and the Louisiana laws. Louisiana has a law that a Negro, remember, a Negro was one that was captured, your title, your nationality was stripped from you, and now you have Negro labeled on top of you, which is nothing but a property status, right? So you are Negro, property status, no one knows your nationality, right? No one, you're not allowed to claim it. They put a law on top of them that if you spoke your native tongue, if you dress like a native, right, then you were hung. What was it? In Virginia, they had a simple law. If you spoke a native tongue, if you spoke a Native American tongue, you were hung in a tree. Now, you ever stop and ask, when you see the pictures of quote-unquote black people hanging from trees, what were they being hung for? Because I found two laws, Virginia and Louisiana, that tell you specifically, if you were to dress like an Indian, if you were to talk like an Indian or a Native, you were going to get your ass hung in a tree. And that's some serious stuff. That would put the fear in anybody. Now somebody could just make a rumor, oh, I heard him speaking in an Algonquin language. You're up a fucking tree. Oh, I heard him speaking in a Muskogee language. You're up a fucking tree. Then you hear these stories from old time people that said, hey, you know, we weren't allowed to speak our native tongue. When we were told, when grandma would take us to the store, she would plead with us, don't say anything at all.
Okay. Who is the American, Rhonda?
Well, it is the indigenous aboriginals.
Ah. You see what rabbit hole we about to climb down now? If we talk about the paper? Yeah, I'm sliding in a little movie review along parallel tonight. But you know what? And I'll just point out some things. You can correct me at any time. You, Sandra, Sean. No government is sovereign. Sovereignty is bestowed upon the birth of living beings.
Yep.
Tell it, brother.
Could include animals.
Well, you're saying you're a living being, but here's the problem. You never corrected your name, right? Your name is still listed in all capital letters on your driver's license, your birth certificate, etc., etc., etc. Which your third grade grammar teacher should have smacked you on top of the head and told you, a proper name is not written in all capital letters. It's a capital letter followed by lowercase letters. Go to a cemetery. Go to a graveyard. Oh, there he goes again. Go to a cemetery. Go to a graveyard. Look at the names on most of the headstones, especially the old ones. They're all written in capital, right? Because it's etymology. It's wordplay. Where does the word capital come from? Something dead.
Or life, by the way. Or plant life. Or
I'm in agreement.
The creator of all, Mother Earth.
I'm in
as in
agreement.
the land is sovereign. Okay? So, who the hell are these European demons reclaiming sovereignty? From who?
Exactly.
From who? Now, I keep hanging in the air that question, who's the American you're talking about? And I stress now, not the United States. Okay? First and foremost, the United States is not a nation. Dane has done a very good documentary about this. If you haven't seen that, it's one of his most recent ones, talking about the context of nationality. Okay? Being very specific here, just as you've been pointing out in your monologue or diatribe early in this call. The 50 individual states or nations, because those 50 started with the original 13 colonies that were not agreed to by how many uncivilized tribes are there?
Woo!
Because they love to pull out the 5 civilized tribes.
Exactly. Exactly. That
Right.
we don't know how many the quote uncivilized there are.
Okay. Now, by the way, those 5 uncivilized tribes is in reaction to 1830 Indian Removal Act. So we're talking about a cool 2 centuries after the first treaty, if you're not aware, in 1613 with the Iroquois Confederacy and the Dutch. Were you hip to that?
Yes, I am. Bring it,
Just
brother. Bring
recently
it.
recognized in 2010 by the Queen of Canada, a la Queen Elizabeth, that old ancient decrepit thing. Reinitialized, or I should say re-recognized in 2010 the 1613 treaty with the Iroquois. Now, by the way, Iroquois is not a tribe, right, Sean? It is a confederacy of 5 or 6 nations.
Right.
Seneca being one, Mohawk being one, for example.
That's right.
Tell it.
But again, and no disrespect to our ancestors, in my little perspective, those are still renegades. Okay?
We on the same page.
5 or 6
Indeed.
out of how many hundreds? Not in agreement.
That's right. That's
Okay,
right.
so from 1613 to 1830 is how long? 217 years.
Yeah. Okay, you beat me to the math. Yes.
Well, but there is still, if you believe Jay Winter Nightwolf, I've talked to you about this interview before, what he did with Farrakhan, and his, again, these Native American mom.
And fuck Farrakhan, man. He told him right to his face a massive secret. Farrakhan just said, yeah, okay, and how does that help the Nation of Islam? That's all he cares about.
Mongoloid Caucasian hybrid mixes said that they have broken over 627 treaties. But again, that's with renegades. Okay? So they have broke contracts with the renegades that they negotiated with who did not have authority. Because I know you know that there's a point to what I'm making here about.
Yeah, no, you're doing beautifully.
Hey, bro.
Whose sovereignty? Yes, my brother.
Before you finish, keep this in mind. U.S. citizen ain't gonna be on the 2020 census. So,
and neither will Native American. They're removing the term Native American.
Oh, I didn't know that. Whoa.
Now, as far as for who's gonna be called American, what year and what dictionary are they going by? Because they're going to have to specify that.
You already know what Merriam-Webster said in 1828.
Right, but we know that they going to run as far away from that as they can. And in today's dictionaries, it also includes them. It's those of European descent. It don't say nothing about nobody else. So that means all these other little foreigners that came over here thinking they was going to replace us, coming over here being good slaves. You know, y'all got to put on there where you from, what tribe, this, that, or the other. So, I mean, as soon as you tell them the truth that they already know, you go.
And you know that now they're backtracking, saying that they're dropping the blood quantum percentage to prove tribal heritage, and I just bust all the way up.
Okay, but let's point out 2 facts that he not only is correct in that, if I'm not mistaken, Sean, and we need to get that official copy, Negro is removed, and black will no longer be authorized without stating descriptively, same as white.
That's what
Where
I heard.
are you saying you originated from? From Africa and or Europe? Which nation? Not a landmass.
That's
Which
right.
nation? Now, if we couple that with one other fact here, and this is a key point, Because again, these descriptors are